2019. This is Judge Wish, Courtroom 1, Session 1. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Copy Kennedy Swans on behalf of the Office of State Attorney.
Cody Jordan with the Public Defender's Office.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Rosado.
All right, Mr. Rosado, you're here. Looks like the state filed an information charging you as an adult, and this was transferred from a juvenile case. Case number here is 2019 CF 10824, and the state has filed an information charging you with attempted first-degree murder with a firearm, attempted robbery with a firearm, throwing a deadly missile at or into an occupied vehicle, attempted or aggravated battery with great bodily harm with a firearm, and possession of a firearm by a minor. And probable cause, I believe, has been found based on the charging, and the judge signing the order for transfer. So, State, did you want to be heard as to bond? I believe had the information.
We have one moment, Your
I
Honor.
think count 1 is a life felony. I'm going to appoint the PD if I didn't say that. They might have already been appointed before he transferred down here.
They have the Public Defender's Office
Yeah.
in juvenile.
Was already appointed.
And this is a punishable by life offense.
So it looks like counts 2, 3, 4 are F2s, count 5 is an M1, and count 1 is a life felony.
With a 20-year min-man on the.
Correct.
on
And a
count one.
min-man on count 5, and a min-man on count 4.
Your Honor, state would request the defendant be held at no bond. Looking at the police reports, the information given to find probable cause for the filing of the information, it looks like this defendant came to a home, the victim was shot, came to a car, excuse me, the victim was shot in the arm, in the leg when the officers responded. Looks like it was a drug deal set up. The victim identified this defendant about a week later in a photo lineup as the one that he had met with to do the drug transfer. Then told him to put his hands up, fired 2 to 4 shots in the silver Honda where the victim was riding in. The victim ran one way, the defendant ran the other way. I don't believe there was any surveillance, but there were other witnesses who heard the shots and saw the defendant running an opposite way after the shots had been fired. There was also other bullets or found in other cars that were around the area at the time of the shooting. Based on the physical evidence and the victim's ability to identify his attacker, we believe the defendant should be held at no bond.
Mr. Jordan?
Your Honor, we'd ask the court to use its discretion to set a bond in this case, given his age and maturity. He is currently 17 years old.
Okay, so there is additional information. There was a sandal, a shirt, and a rifle case located close to the crime scene. The sandal was said to have belonged to one of the suspects. During a search of, I believe, this defendant's social media, there was a picture of him wearing the same sandal found at the scene. So I think, and then after a search warrant, there was a firearm located, and which was this believed to be the same gun, which was later presented to the victim and identified as the gun by the victim. So based on that additional information, I do find proof evident presumption great. I am going to hold Mr. Manuel at no, or Mr. Rosado, excuse me, at no bond on count 1. Count 2 will be $50,000. Count 3 will be $2,500. Count 4 will be $10,000, and count 5 will stay at $150. You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, any ammunition. You're not to return back to 444 South Rio Grande Avenue. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You're not to have any contact with any victim, witness, or co-defendant in the case. And I think that's all.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe the youth was being kept separate from the other inmates, which is why it's taking more time.
It's fine. All right, please tell me your name, ma'am.
Carlin Cadet.
All right, Ms. Cadet, you're here in 2019 MM 6328AL. You arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And is there an offer for Ms. Cadet?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to the scene. I have spoken with my client. She does wish to accept that offer.
And it's 2 days, yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
2 days.
And she does have a hold for Broward County. I don't know what that is. A bond on it? Okay.
So, Broward County wants you to bond that amount. This case today,
Wait a minute.
Broward is different than what you have.
What, I have no charge in Brown County.
Broward wants you.
For what?
Don't know.
For what?
They will.
For what?
Don't know.
All right, Ms. Cadet, we're talking
I'm
about,
gonna be
we're
released here?
talking about this case today, which is the trespass. The state's offer is an adjudication of guilt and credit for the 2 days that you've served, and you can't go back to the Walmart at 5559 Clarkona Coe Road. So
Okay.
that's,
Then-
and I have to impose court costs. I'll give you a year to pay them off, so that'll resolve your case today, okay?
Am I leaving today?
I don't know about you have a hold for Broward County. I don't know what it's for, but you do have a bond on it. I don't know anything about it. I can't do anything about it, okay?
Who's gonna come get me from Broward? The BSOs? Broward Sheriff's? Hold
If they
on.
don't pick you
You're my
up,
lawyer.
if they don't pick
Now ask
you
the
up,
question 3 times.
I'm trying
Ma'am, you need to respect Mr. Jordan.
I am.
No, you're not. You need to,
I'm ready to go.
okay, well, we don't have to do the plea.
What's the plea?
Please go.
I'm quiet.
Okay, good, man.
I'm quiet.
All right. All right, Ms. Cadet, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom? I need you to answer my questions or we can't do the plea.
Please, Your Honor, rephrase it for me. I respect my attorney.
Is this your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes.
Okay, did you understand everything that was contained within the
What's
plea
the
form?
charge?
It's trespass,
Okay.
okay?
Wasn't there,
Did you understand everything that was contained within the plea form?
what's the,
Do you understand the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea? There
What
won't be a
rights?
trial. You won't be able to call witnesses. You won't be able to make the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you've committed the offense. So the case will resolve today.
And I will leave today.
I don't know that you will get
Okay.
out today, but
Can
you're not
someone-
gonna be you're not gonna be held on this case.
So I will leave your jail and your facility today
I
to
can't,
rectify.
I cannot tell you that. You have a hold for Broward County. I
What's
don't
the
know
hold?
what
You
it's
have the
for.
paperwork right there. What's the hold?
have a
Does
warrant.
anyone know what the hold is for?
For a battery and criminal mischief, $2,500 each count.
Okay.
I
so you
didn't
would-
do have no,
Okay.
They're telling us
Ms.
to do it.
Cadet, I can't get through the plea form with you and do the plea on this case, so you can be dealing with the other case that you
I'm ready to
have
go,
if we
Judge.
don't, okay, I can't
it's
take
the
it.
information is incorrect. You don't know the charge. I don't have a battery from Brock. Don't
So
quote.
she's
Do
not-
quote me.
Mr. Jordan, she's not to return back to that Walmart at 5559 Clarkona Ocoee Road or have any contact with any victim or witness at that location. And her bond is set at $500. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Keith Johnson.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you're here in 2019 CF 4753. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant, which probable cause was found for grand theft third degree and uttering forged bills. And I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to the Regions Bank at 1245 West Fairbanks Avenue in Winter Park, Florida. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. And your bonds will stay set at $2,500 on count one and $1,000 on count two.
Do you have any questions? No. You will be able to bond out.
All right, please tell me your name.
Jaquez Rodriguez.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, you're here in 2019 MM 6329AO. You're arrested for resisting an officer without violence and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public, well, you did not fill out a form for the public defender. Were you able to, I don't know if you were able to speak with anybody.
No, ma'am.
Did you want me to see if you qualify for the public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you work?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you get any income whatsoever?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna appoint the public defender. My guess is that you probably have them on your other cases that you're here on. So I'm gonna appoint the PD in this case. No, you can't possess any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bond's gonna stay set at 500 on count one, 100 on count two. In 2018 CF 16199AO, you arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear. Does he have the PD on that case? Conflict counsel, okay. And so, you failed to appear for a status hearing on March 8th, 2019. The judge revoked your conditional release. And part of the capias in that case is that you'll be brought before the judge immediately after your arrest. So you should see Judge Kest. I believe he's in Division 20. In 2017 CF 4793AO, you were arrested pursuant again to a failure to appear for a status hearing on March 8th, 2019. The judge has requested that you be brought before him within 24 hours or immediately after arrest. And your bonds in that case are set at none. In 2017 CF 7495. You also were picked up pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for your status hearing. And your bonds are set at none in that case. And you should be seen by Judge Kest immediately after your arrest. So that'll be put on the docket. And so you are represented in all of those cases, okay?
I ain't worrying about none of that shit. I'm still going home.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Shannon Ira Grice.
All right, Mr. Grice, you're here in 2019 MO 1394. You're arrested for disorderly conduct. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer from Mr. Grice?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served. And I have spoken with my client. He does wish to accept that offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Grice, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I do find a factual basis for acceptance of your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'm going to order you pay those by July 31st, 2020. Gives you a year to pay them off. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. All right? Good luck to you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Justin Daniel Nunchester.
All right, Mr. Noonchester, you're here in 2019 MO 1395. You were arrested for state misdemeanors. I do find probable cause, and you did not fill out a form for the public defender. Did you want to see if the state had an offer to resolve your case today? Looks like you already signed the plea form.
I've already relayed the offer.
Okay.
Adjudication, credit for time served, 2 days.
Okay, thank you. And I'm not gonna take any action on your ROR case. I don't know if you have an upcoming court date. Don't want you to miss your court date if you do have one. Okay. Okay. Okay, I don't have any of that, so I can't resolve that one today. It doesn't look like anything's been filed yet in your other case. Okay, sir, so just make sure that you keep in touch with, you have the PD, you do have the PD on your other case, okay? Your felony that you're out on release on. You were arrested on May 17th, 2019 for possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Here's your case numbers.
Just letting you know. All right.
So
That's the felony. You got a warrant that is not, sounds like yourself.
I'm not taking any action on it, but just make sure that you're aware of it, okay? I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
yes,
Did you
ma'am.
understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, I do find a factual basis for acceptance of the plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I am gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'm gonna order you pay those by July 31st, 2020. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Eric Rich.
All right, Mr. Rich, you're here in 2019 MO 1396. You were arrested for disorderly conduct on state misdemeanors. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state was an adjudication of guilt, credit time served. He does wish to accept that offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay, and I'm not going to take any action on his out on release case, but it looks like he has a court date coming up on August 9th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
OCO the county, bitch,
Make sure you don't miss that date,
I
okay?
am not gonna miss that, cause I'm gonna be there.
All right.
Okay, sir.
Can you,
She's gonna ask you a few questions.
can you write that down for my court date so I won't remember, so I can remember?
Do you need information, Mr. Jordan?
No, I
Okay.
have that information. I'm writing it down for him.
All right, Mr. Rich, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
you on probation?
No, ma'am.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I do find a factual basis for acceptance of the plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I am gonna adjudicate you guilty on both counts, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Those will run concurrent. I do have to impose court costs. I'm gonna order you pay those by July 31st, 2020.
Yes,
If you
ma'am.
want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. And I
Yes,
believe your court date's in Osceola.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go to the right courthouse.
All right. It's
Okay.
downtown Kissimmee, I already know.
That's right. You have a good day. All right, please tell me your name.
Natasha Anderson.
All right, Ms. Anderson, you're here in 2019 CF 4208 AO. You're arrested for a violation of pretrial release. That was pursuant to a warrant. The judge in that case set your bond at none. Does she have the PD already? You do already have the PD in that case, and they can file any appropriate motions on your behalf, okay? All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Gary Barnes.
All right, Mr. Barnes, you're here in 2019 CF 10875 AO. You were arrested for fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the passenger in the case, Mr. Charles. And your bond is set at $10,000 on count 1, 100 on count 2. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Jody Cataract.
All right, Mr. Cataract, you're here in 2019 CF 10864 AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office. You can't possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am going to stay the bond at the $1,000.
Your Honor, I would note that he has not had an arrest on a case since 2012, and he has no failure to appears. He is, if the court is willing, I could proctor some testimony on the record as to his financial ability to pay his bond.
Okay.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear affirm that testimony Vasquez should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, can you please state your name for the record?
Jody Francis Cataract.
Sir, do you currently work?
I'm supposed to start working on Monday.
Do you currently have a place to live?
Coalition.
So you live in the Coalition for the Homeless?
Yes, sir.
Sir, do you have the financial ability to pay this bond?
Not at the moment, I don't.
Do you have friends or family?
I don't have anybody to pay a bond.
Okay. So no one that you know could bond you out, even
No.
for $100?
Not even for $100. I was homeless for a while.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Can he, I mean, it doesn't appear as if, so they say the emergency contact did not answer. What emergency contact did you provide?
Well, I put my daughter as an emergency contact, but she has situations of her own. She
Okay.
has 4 kids. She's a single mother.
She live in Orlando?
She lives in Lake County.
Okay. And then, but you're living currently at the Coalition
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
Homeless? So you have a bed there?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you all, are you, if they're at the Coalition, are you all able to, do PTR? Okay, so somebody at the Coalition can verify that you do have a bed there?
I reckon so, yeah. My caseworker.
Okay, what's that person's name?
Courtney, I don't know her last name. I know her first name's Courtney.
And she works for the Coalition?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll set the bond at $500 or pretrial release if you qualify. If that doesn't work out, your attorneys can file a bond motion for you, okay?
Okay.
But you need to make sure that whatever questions pretrial release may ask of you, that you answer them truthfully and so that they can try and qualify you, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, please tell me your name.
Justin Dylan Cox.
All right, Mr. Cox, you're here in 2019 CF 108748. You're arrested for armed burglary of a dwelling with a firearm and aggravated assault with a firearm. I'm not sure why there's it's on your face sheet that you qualify for pretrial release, so I think that's a mistake.
I believe so.
It is in here.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. So, I do find probable cause for both of the offenses. I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. State, did you want to be heard as to bond on count 1?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe the defendant should be held at no bond. It looks like the defendant entered a residence looking for a friend of one of the residents. They gave a description of what he looked like and what he was wearing. He identified himself by yelling out his name in an explicitive. While he was in the residence, he took out a small gold-colored pistol. One of the residents threatened to call the police. He left, everyone else left. They found in the area there was unspent ammunition. They were able to catch the defendant shortly thereafter and identify him as the one that came into the house uninvited. He was there because he was angry that the brother's friend gave his name to the law enforcement for some other unrelated matter.
Your Honor.
I didn't know if she was finished
Yes.
or.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's fine. I just didn't know if you were pausing.
No, I'm finished.
Yes, Mr. Jordan?
Your Honor, much of that uncontestable evidence in the police report goes to the probable cause of aggravated assault with a firearm, while the punishable by life offense, which presumption must be great and the proof evident, is armed burglary with a firearm, armed burglary of a dwelling with a firearm. As to that charge, the police report indicates that the alleged victim is a resident of the location, but it is not clear who the other people in the location are, whether they are residents, whether they did have the legal authority to invite the defendant into the home, and whether or not they had license to do so. It is not clear from the evidence whether or not the other people in the home were involved with the defendant in some way. Given the fact that the allegations are the defendant pulled a firearm, the alleged victim then threatened to call 911, and the residents or the other people in the home who are, again, unidentified as to their relationship to the homeowner or whether they live there, then left at the threat to call 911. That gives rise to the at least reasonable doubt that it's possible other people in the home were in cahoots with the defendant and that they could have given him license to enter the residence even if the alleged victim did not give license for the defendant to enter the dwelling. Given that fact, I believe there is plenty of evidence in the police report for a finding of aggravated assault with a firearm, but I do not believe the presumption is greater than proof evident to assume that this is an this is an armed burglary of a dwelling with a firearm.
I mean, the statement is, nor did she or anyone else invite him into the residence.
They
And
say
it's
that.
It's her residence, she says.
She says that, but I would note as to that fact, the alleged victim herself assumed someone else in the residence knew who the defendant was when she proceeded to question them about the defendant's identity. So if the officers involved did not interview the other residents, or did, at least if they did, they didn't provide their names or identities, the fact that the one resident who was in her bedroom at the time he entered the home and caused a disturbance, I don't see how her testimony as to that would give rise to presumption grade proof evident. There is reasonable doubt here is what I'm pointing out.
Okay, well, the co-defendant, or the individual that accompanied Mr. Cox Gonzalez, was issued a trespass warning
But there were
by
more than one individual in the
Cribble.
home.
I know, but there's no indication that those individuals live there. You're reading into the facts here, so you're assuming a fact that's not included.
No, I'm assuming that there is some doubt here as to unanswered questions. And given the fact that proof evident presumption grade is a higher standard than beyond all
I
reasonable
know what the
doubt.
standard is, but all of the facts here seem to point that he was not an invited guest by anybody, especially with the actions that took place in the residence. And then again, when he returned to the residence, so, you know, I keep saying he wasn't licensed or invited. And even if he had been invited, I just, there's no evidence of that. State, did you want to respond to that, or?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, I do find proof evident presumption great here. And so I am gonna hold him at no bond on count 1. Count 2 is gonna be $15,000. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no contact with any victim, any witness, or Mr. Gonzalez, Jose Gonzalez. I don't know if he's a co-defendant or what, but he's listed in the affidavit, and he was accompanied Mr. Cox. No return back to 13044 Kirk Street.
Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Sandra Gonzalez.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, you're here in 2019 CF 10869AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bond on count 1 will be $1,000. Your bond on count 2 will be $100. 2019 CT 5636. You were arrested for driving while license revoked or suspended. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the PD. You can't drive without a valid license, and your bond will stay set at $500.
And your argument, Honor, in the next case, I do have a PC argument.
Okay. I might have had the same one as you. All right, please tell me your name.
Tony Jackson.
All right, Ms. Jackson, you're here in 2019 CF 10852AO. You were arrested for robbery with a firearm, and I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Mr. Jordan, you had a probable cause challenge.
Yes. Your Honor, this is being charged as robbery with a firearm despite the fact that she is neither the one who committed the robbery, did not possess the firearm, and was not a principal as to statute 777.011. She neither aided nor abetted nor counseled, hired, or otherwise procured the robbery with the firearm. She was simply present during the crime being committed and drove the car afterwards. I do have case law as to that not being enough to charge a person with a crime as a principal.
Okay, so, but although she was present and drove him away.
Yes, that would go to a no more than an accessory after the fact. And I do have case law as to that.
Okay.
May I approach?
Sure.
May I have a moment to read it, Your Honor?
Sure. I'm gonna need a minute too, so.
There was a number of cases to choose from, but
I want to read the affidavit again, so, do you have any argument?
Yes, Your Honor, I think the distinction between these two cases is, in one of them, the defendant, I believe it's the Smith defendant, never got out of the car, which was parked in the yard. And then in the VW case, the defendant was found a short time afterwards with the people that committed the robbery. In this case, Your Honor, she was in the store, excuse me. She attempted to cash the exact same check that the co-defendant tried to cash. So that, I think that's distinguishing in that she was present when the robbery was about to take place, the short time after it took place. When he got back in the car, she was the driver of the vehicle. I think it's more than just, she just happened to be a driver of a vehicle. Although her testimony, what she states in there is that she didn't know he wasn't walking fast or rushing when he got back in the car. I think that's a self-serving statement.
And these
Your Honor,
cases,
I'd like-
well, these cases deal with principal theory, and they deal with aiding and abetting, and that they were charged as aiding and abetting.
She's being charged with robbery with a firearm.
I understand, so
As a
these are,
principal.
these are, no, not necessarily.
If I may
You
respond to
don't
the
need
state's
to
argument.
charge, I mean, you don't need to charge 77.01 to charge somebody as a co-defendant.
I understand.
Okay, so, I mean, I just want to make that clear that that's not something that needs to be charged in any information in order to argue that somebody was complicit in acting in concert with somebody.
Yeah, and I just wanted to respond to the state's argument. The robbery occurred after they had left the store. The alleged victim was on the sidewalk outside the store. The defendant had returned to the car before the robbery had occurred. She was not in the store present when the robbery occurred because the robbery did not occur in the store. It occurred outside the store. She had returned to the car. I would also note that in the Smith case, the suspect in that case was the driver of the vehicle after the person had committed a burglary, and he participated in a police chase as the police attempted to apprehend them. Both suspects were apprehended after a chase by police officers. In this case, the defendant simply drove away from the
Okay,
store.
well, we're dealing with probable cause
I understand.
versus proving something beyond a reasonable doubt.
I understand that.
Right, so to be sufficient to secure a conviction versus probable cause, which is, would a reasonable person believe that she was acting in concert with the co-defendant? And that's the standard that we're dealing with right now. And based on the officer's testimony, which says that based on the positive identification of Thomas, the fact that Thomas was seen running to the Dodge, her statement is that he was walking and it didn't appear as if he was in a rush and there was no exigency and she didn't raise any concerns with her. There's a conflict in that testimony, which is the officer sees him running to the Dodge and she's saying he's walking to the Dodge. So your argument that what her testimony is, there's a conflict as well there. So I have to weigh that credibility as well. So I think that these two cases deal with sufficient evidence to convict versus sufficient evidence to find probable cause, which are two different standards of proof. So unless you have any other argument, I think it's a different standard.
I understand, but the charge where you are trying to find probable cause is robbery with a firearm.
Right.
My argument is there's no probable cause to find that she robbed anyone with a firearm.
I think the allegation is that she was working in
charge is
concert with
robbery.
the defendant.
And in that case, it would be a principal theory in which
But it
an
does-
aiding and abetting, and I believe I provided case law where if you are just there present for the crime and drove the vehicle afterwards, that is not aiding and abetting. Otherwise, she did not possess the firearm, she did not shoot the guy, she did not commit the robbery. So if the state's argument is that she aided and abetted, or she was a principal, then I provided sufficient case law to show that the standard is clear.
You know, yeah. So I think it's a different standard, and I think that the evidence, there is conflict in the testimony between what she's telling the cop and versus what the cop saw, which is, and that's kind of, I think, what you're pinpointing.
I did not use any of her testimony.
You said that she said that he was walking to the car.
No, I
That's-
said that she was in the car.
Right, and that he
She
walked.
went to the car
I'm
before the
pretty
robbery had
sure-
been committed.
I'm pretty sure you made that argument.
That, I was
That he
contradicting
was-
the state's point that she was in the store when the robbery occurred.
Okay. Well, we know that she wasn't in the
Yeah,
store.
exactly. She was in the car.
She was in the car. And then the allegations are he ran to the car and they fled the scene. So whether or not she knew or didn't know what was happening, that's for a jury to decide. But the probable cause standard is very low. It's lower than what the positions are in these cases, which have to do with trial. Would you agree that these are trial cases, not whether the court was able to find probable cause?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I think that there are two different standards that we're applying.
Okay.
Whether or not the state charges it, whether that can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, are two different standards. So I do find probable cause. I am gonna exercise my discretion and give her a bond. So first, I'm gonna say you're not to have any contact with the co-defendant in the case. I believe that's Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas. So you're not to have any contact with Mr. Thomas. You're not to have any contact with any victim, any witness. And you're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. You're not to return back to 8004 Mandarin Drive. And I am gonna set your bond at 15,000. Okay. Do you want your case law back, Mr.
That's
Jordan?
fine. I have copies.
Okay. All right, please tell me your name.
Terrence Martin.
All right, Mr. Martin, you're here in 2019 CF 10867AO. You're arrested for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause, and I'm being advised that you do not qualify for the public defender's office, so let me just go over the form with you. Do you work?
Huh?
Do you work?
Yeah, I work there.
Okay, and do you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly?
Weekly.
And how much do you get paid weekly after taxes?
Well, after tax is the difference. I don't know. After tax, probably like 4 to 450. All depends.
Okay, and do you have any children?
No, no kids.
Okay, so I do find that you qualify for the public defender based on the testimony. And so I am gonna appoint them to represent you. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. And you do qualify for pretrial release, but I guess there's an indication here that you're on vacation and you're returning home.
Yeah, Friday.
So, will that work for pretrial release? Okay. But if I order no drugs or alcohol, then he's subject to random urinalysis. Okay, so you understand that, sir? I'm gonna place you in the pretrial release program, and you must comply with all of their requirements, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You're getting all done everything wrong. You haven't told you you're on arrest.
Okay, thanks.
All right, please tell me your name.
Thomas Michael Magee III.
All right, Mr. Magee, you're here in 2018 CF 11153AO. You're arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for your trial on April 10th, 2019, and the judge set your bond at none in that case. Does he have the PD? You do have the public defender in that case. In 2018 CF 17464, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for failing to report your name or residence change, or address, excuse me, with, as a sexual offender, and that was probable cause was pursuant to a warrant. I am gonna appoint the public defender in that case to represent you. And the judge set your bond at 500. I am gonna set the bond at 2,500 on that case.
You're already being held up.
And in 2018 CF 10946AO, you were arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear again for a pretrial on April 10th, 2019. The judge in that case set your bond at none, and he has the PD in that case too? Okay. Okay.
All right, so getting down to the PDs.
All right, you do have the public defender's office in that case. And
I ain't worried about it. I'm not bonding out.
so they can file any appropriate motions with regards to bond for you, and you do have reporting requirements. So I have to advise you of that. That means if you're sitting in the Orange County Jail, you need to change your address to the Orange County Jail.
I'm not doing it, they can do it.
Your Honor, I did see an error on this case as well. I've already spoken with the state about it.
This is Xanax not being identified.
Not being identified, and also, for some reason, the police report mentions cannabis more than 20 grams, despite the fact the police report mentions cannabis at 0.1 grams in the statements and the facts. So just all over the place. And neither substances were tested or checked on.
Well, you don't need to test cannabis.
You don't,
so-
you're right, Your Honor, but it was the 0.1 and then more than 20, which is a difference between a felony and
So
misdemeanor.
agreeing with,
All right, well, let me call the case first before we.
Sorry.
So 2019 CF 10876AO, are you Mr. David Mackenzie? Oh, sorry, you're not.
No.
Sorry.
Oh, boy, I'm sorry. What's going on?
Okay, sorry, I wasn't looking up. So we'll address Mr. Mackenzie and those PC issues.
That was the last
None of
PC.
us were paying attention.
That was the last PC challenge I had for this
Okay.
morning, Your Honor.
All right, I apologize, ma'am. Are you Miss Moore?
Yes, ma'am.
We often look at pieces of paper and we're not looking up at people, so I apologize.
It's
So we'll
okay.
reset Mr. Mackenzie. All right, Miss Moore. You're here in 2019 CF 10877AO. You're arrested for grand theft third degree, criminal mischief over 1,000, and destruction of evidence. And I do find probable cause. I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I am gonna order that you have no contact with any victim or witness in the case. You're not to go back to 3214 East Colonial Drive, the Quickly Boba and Snow Restaurant. And your bonds will stay set at 2,500 on count 1, 150 on counts 2 and 3. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Anquan Owens.
All right, Mr. Owens, you're here in 2019 CF 10858AO. You're arrested for burglary of a dwelling, dealing in stolen property, trafficking, receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification, and grand theft third degree. I do find probable cause. I am gonna appoint the public defender's office. You're not to have any contact with any victim, witness, or any individual as named in the affidavit. You're not to return back to the victim's residence in this case, which is 202 West 10th Street in Apopka, Florida. You're not to return back to the, to any Cash America pawn. Okay, so you can't go back to any Cash America pawn store. Your bond on count 1 is 500. Your bond on counts 2, 3, and 4 are 150. 5,000, I'm sorry. 5,000.
I think that's it. Oh, yeah, the other was from. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Kaylee Phillips.
All right, Ms. Phillips, you're here in 2019 CF 10821. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for leaving the scene of a crash with injuries. I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. I am setting your bond at $2,500. And it looks like you do have a hold for Palm Beach County. I don't know what that's, is that just a warrant?
You have a warrant in a Palm Beach, most of the cases. So even if you pay this bond, they're going to hold you up to be picked up by.
Okay.
Pay the bond, they don't pick you up. They want you to pay the bond.
Okay.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Carl Lawrence Robinson.
All right, Mr. Robinson, you're here in 2018 CF 11163AO. You're arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for pretrial on June 18, 2019. The judge set your bond on each count at none. Does he have the PD? You do have the PD in that case. They can file any appropriate motions. 2018 CF 10118. And in that case, you also failed to appear for trial on May 16, 2019. The judge set your bond at none in that case. Does he have the PD? You do have the PD in that case. And in 2019, CF 10872, AO, you arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. Can't have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. You can't go back to Walmart at 2715 South Orange Avenue. And your bond will stay set, I believe, at 1,000.
I know.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Jorge Alejandro Romero Guzman.
All right, Mr. Romero Guzman, you're here in 2018 CF 11847AO. You're arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for a status hearing on June 27, 2019. The judge set your bond on each count at none. And does he have the PD or an attorney? Private, you do have an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would get in touch with that person. They can file any appropriate motions for you in your case, okay? With the
Okay.
judge in the case, in Division 22, all right?
Okay.
right, please tell me your name, ma'am.
Stephanie Marie Sosa.
All right, Ms. Sosa, you're here in 2019 CF 4005AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for pretrial on July 23rd, 2019. The judge revoked your release, set your bond at none. And does she have the PD? You do have the public defender's office representing you, and they can file any appropriate motions with regards to bond for you, okay? All right, please tell me your name.
Nicholas Stevens Bray.
All right, Mr. Spray, you're here in 2018 CF 14861AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for case management conference on May 23rd, 2019, and the judge revoked your release, set your bond at none on each count. And does he have the PD? You have conflict counsel. So you need to make sure you get in touch with your attorney as soon as possible, and they can file any appropriate motions for bond, okay?
So as of, at the moment, I have no bond.
I can't change the capias, not
Understand.
permitted to by law, so you'll just need to contact them ASAP, okay?
Okay, and how would I go about getting a hold of them? Because
Um,
last time I was here, I did 33 days and they never came to see me, so I'm not sure.
let me see if there's a specific attorney that, you can call over to conflict counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Looks
This
like
is
Ms.
Mr. Smith.
Malove.
Susan Manglo.
Yeah, so it looks like Ms. Malove is representing you.
How do you
I
spell
don't
that?
think she works for
No, she's a
conflict.
conflict attorney.
Okay,
So,
okay.
if
So
there's
it, so
scores
you
that-
have Miss Malove, she was appointed to represent you.
Okay.
So her name is Susan Malove, I'm gonna, are you writing it down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Her number is 407-374-2727.
374-2727.
Yes.
Thank you very much, State.
Okay.
And that's 47, that's Miss Susan Malo. How do you spell last name?
Malove, M-A-L-O-V-E.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Okay?
Have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Anton Thomas.
All right, Mr. Thomas. You're here in 2019 CF 10851AO. You're arrested for robbery with a firearm. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. State, did you want to be heard as to bond? This is the co-defendant that we just,
Sorry, Your Honor, I was just sending Ms. Manglo an email.
oh, you're fine.
Saying that. Okay, sorry, yes, Your Honor, Mr. Thomas, we would request that the defendant be held at no bond. The victim had a gunshot wound to the left leg. This defendant with the previous defendant, Mr. Thomas, came into the, convenience store to try to cash a check. They were unable to, they were unable to do so. This defendant shot the victim in the leg, was then seen on surveillance getting into the passenger seat of a yellow Dodge Ram truck. About 4 or 5 hours later, that same truck was stopped by OPD. The officer that arrived from the first investigation was able to identify them from the surveillance video as the shooter. I think about a week later, no, sorry, it's not the wrong case. So based on the fact that they were able to see them on surveillance, the testimony of the victim, and that the officers would identify him from the surveillance as the shooter, we would ask this defendant be held at no bond, no contact with the co-defendant. I can see, let me see what's going on with this Allen bond case because it is relatively old. And it looks like the out on bond case from 2012 was filed on, and then he failed to appear to pretrial in 2012, and it's been just out there until he's now been arrested on this case.
Okay, so we had a capias and no bond already, okay.
I don't know what, I can't see what the bond amount was, but he had a capias on 4/24/2012. So we'd ask that bond be revoked to be held at no bond
All
on
right,
that case.
Mr. Jordan. any
We
other-
defer to the court, Your Honor.
Okay, I do find proof evident, presumption great, and I am gonna hold Mr. Thomas at no bond, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no contact with any victim, any witness, or the co-defendant, Ms. Jackson. You're not to return back to 8004 Mandarin Drive, and in 2012, MM 1833AO. I am gonna revoke the bond and set that at none. I don't know what I'm gonna look that up real quick, because
Sorry, sir.
there was a capias issued on that. So it looks like they did arrest you on the capias. It was returned executed. And the
No,
bond-
7/24.
There was a bond on it, but I'm revoking the bond today. Yeah, I'm revoking the bond today. And so, does he have the PD in that? Okay, I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent you in that case, okay? Because you don't have an attorney on the case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, please tell me your name.
Brett Thomas.
All right, Mr. Thomas, you're here in 2018 CF 17675AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for a pretrial conference on May 14, 2019. The judge revoked your release and set your bond at none. Does he have the PD? You do have the public defender's office. They can file any appropriate motions with regards to bond for you.
This is back from command.
All right, please tell me your name, ma'am.
Amber Troxel.
All right, Ms. Troxel, you're here in 2019 CF 9554AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for your arraignment on July 18, 2019. The judge revoked your release, set your bond at none. I don't know if the PD was previously appointed, but I'm going to appoint them to represent you today if they haven't already been appointed, okay? And they can file any appropriate motions with regards to bond for you.
This is a felony, though. This is a felony case. I understand that you're talking about that, but the fact of the matter is, some judges will say it's an excuse. Up to that judge. Right now you're being
All right, please tell me your name.
Melissa Vasquez.
All right, Ms. Vasquez, you're here in 2019 CF 10860AO. You're arrested for petty or retail theft over 300. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the PD to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. You're not to return back to Target. I think that address is 120 West Grant Street. You're not to also go back to the Spectrum Mobile at 2380 South Orange Avenue. And you're out, I'm gonna stay the bond at the $1,000, and you're out on release for 2 grand thefts. In 2019 CF 7418 and 2019 CF 7417. I am gonna revoke the release and set your bonds at none in those cases. Does she have the PD in those cases? And you do have the public defender. They can file any appropriate motions with regards to bond for you. Yeah. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Anthony Wilson.
All right, Mr. Wilson, you're here in 2019 CF 10870AO. You're arrested for grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You can't have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case, and your bond will stay set at $2,500. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Mel Dawson.
All right, Mr. Dawson, you're here in 2019 MO 1393. You're arrested for disorderly conduct. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer for Mr. Dawson?
Yes, Your Honor, and I have conveyed that offer to him. The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, as well as court costs. He does wish to accept the offer and enter a plea of no contest. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Dawson, excuse me. I'm not gonna take any action on your out on release case, but you do have a court date coming up. Are you
Yes.
aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's on August 29th at 8:30 in courtroom 6C, in front of Judge Johnson.
No.
Okay? Looks like you were referred to maybe PTD, but I don't know what happened.
Okay.
So just make sure you don't miss your court date.
Yes, ma'am.
Promise?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do find a factual basis for acceptance of the plea. Based on the affidavit in the court file, I'm gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'm gonna order you pay those by July 31st, 2020. That gives you a year to pay them off. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Yes,
Go-
ma'am.
Don't miss your court.
All right. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Tyler Nichai.
All right, Mr. Chai, you're here in 2019 CO 842. You're arrested for soliciting without a permit. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Was there an offer from Mr. Nichai?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state was an adjudication of guilt, credit time served. I have spoken with my client. He does wish to accept that offer.
Okay.
Any questions? Probation? Citizen? Good. Thank you.
Excuse me. All right, Mr. Nichai, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything that was contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit to accept your plea. I am going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'm going to order you pay those by July 31st, 2020. Okay, it gives you a year to pay them off. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right, good luck to you.
James Webster is mental health care.
Okay, we'll reset Mr. Webster. right, please tell me your name.
Willie Hill.
All right, Mr. Hill, you're here in 2019 MM 6334AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer from Mr. Hill?
Yes, Your Honor. Could I have a moment to convey that to my client?
Sure.
Your Honor, after speaking with my client, he does wish to accept the offer from the state. The offer is an adjudication of guilt. Credit time served, 2 days, as well as no return.
Okay, and I would have to impose court costs, Mr. Hill, but I'll give you a year to pay him off. All right, Mr. Hill, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Is it your signature, sir?
Is this your signature?
Yes,
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
I can,
It's fine. Need glasses.
yeah.
All right. Did you understand everything that was contained within the plea form?
I want to find out that, when do, my time is up.
You're gonna get out today, but we
No,
gotta.
I'm talking about the year.
Oh, I'm gonna give you a year, so
How
July
many,
31st.
how many days after?
No, to pay the fines,
I'm gonna give you a year.
You can come back and pay it off in a year.
Okay, how much is the fine?
The fine is 223 plus 50.
Ain't no
It's
problem.
like your court costs and everything.
No problem.
Okay?
Ain't no problem.
All right. Did you understand everything that was contained within the plea form?
Yes,
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No,
All right. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
yeah.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, I keep talking fast.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. I do find a factual basis for acceptance of the plea based on the affidavit. I am gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Can't go back to 455 North Garland Avenue, the Lynx bus station. You've been trespassed from there, and they have trespassed you, so you must abide by the trespass warnings. If you go back, you're probably gonna get arrested.
Okay, how long?
I don't know. You'll have to look at that trespass warning or call Lynx and find out. So
Yeah.
it doesn't say on here. It just says you were trespassed from 12/16/2018. So you're still trespassed. Okay. Don't go back.
Right.
And I do have to impose court costs. I'm going to order you pay those by July 31st, 2020. That gives you a year to pay them off. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. All right? Good luck, Mr. Hill. All right, please tell me your name.
Charlie Williams.
All right. Mr. Williams, you're here in 2019, MM 6330AO. You're arrested for possession of cannabis, less than 20 grams. I do find probable cause. I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer?
May I have a moment, John?
Sure,
Your Honor, could I have a moment to talk this in?
sure.
He can sit, he can move on, he can sit here. But not my plans for you, though, because they have a lot of cases. You're right, now, he can sit here. Remember, she didn't love it. That's what I'm saying.
Your Honor, after speaking with my client, he does not wish to accept the offer from the state.
Your Honor,
Okay.
state's request would be that the out on bond case be revoked and the original conditions be doubled.
I would note that he only has 2 misdemeanors and no failure to
Well,
appear.
Mr. Jordan, it's the same house, search warrant, drugs it's the same facts. It's the same exact facts. So, you know, maybe Mr. Williams shouldn't live there. So, I don't know what the offer was, but, I am gonna set the bond at 500. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You're not to have any contact with any listed witnesses. I think there's some co-defendants in the case. So it's probably best that you not have contact with them. And you're out on bond in 2019 CF 7817AO. I am revoking the bond and setting it at none. And I'm gonna appoint the PD because he doesn't have an attorney in that case. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Julio Pereira.
All right, Mr. Pereira, you're here in, you're picked up on an out-of-county case out of Broward County pursuant to a warrant. Looks like the judge in that case set your bond at none. So Broward has 72 hours pursuant to our administrative order to come and pick you up. That does not include weekends or holidays. And so if they do not pick you up in the allotted time, you'll come back before another judge, okay, or myself.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Mark Prez.
All right, Mr. Prez, you're here you were picked up on an out-of-county warrant. Is it Seminole County?
Correct.
Yeah, Seminole County. And so you do have bonds of $3,000 on each count. And so if you can bond out, you can bond out. If not, Seminole County has 24 hours to come and pick you up. Okay?
If they don't pick me up in 24 hours, you guys have to release me?
You come back before me or another judge, okay?
Right.
It's only our admin
And
order.
we'll talk about that, but like I said, it's 9 times out of 10 you get picked up.
I'm not taking any action on the out on release case. I don't know what happened in Seminole County, but make sure you don't get arrested or anything like that because this can get revoked, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, and Woodard bonded, or because I have Woodard, but it says no bond? Oh, okay, so he's gone. Okay, all right.
You said it was medical for Adams?
And Adams is medical, so we will reset Adams.
Chairman Johnson is behavior.
Okay,
State requested it not be reset again as his behavior yesterday as well. Your Honor.
okay. So we'll address Mr. Johnson. (2019) CF 10832AO. Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent him. He's charged with aggravated assault with a weapon. And I do find probable cause. Mr. Jordan, did you wanna formally waive his appearance even though he's
Yes, Your Honor, it was
behaving?
behavior as well yesterday, so
Okay.
we'll waive his appearance as to today.
All right, so he's not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness. He's not to return back to 1165 South Central Avenue. He is not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. And I'm setting his bond at $3,500.
Sean Smith refused.
Okay, I believe that was behavior that yesterday.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'm gonna address Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him in case number 2019 CF 10828. He's charged with criminal mischief over 1,000, and he was behavior yesterday. Today he's refused to come to court. Mr. Jordan, did you wanna formally waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor, we would waive his appearance.
Okay, he's charged with criminal mischief over 1,000. I do find probable cause, and just gonna stay the bond at the $1,000. All right, thank you for your patience. Can you tell me your name?
Ashley Spencer.
All right, Ms. Spencer, you're here in case number 2019 CF 8256AO. And charged, you were picked up pursuant to a warrant for a violation of pretrial release. And the judge set your bond, on count 1 at 250, counts 2 and 3 at 250, count 4 at 15,000, and count 5 at 250. Does she have the PD? No, I'm gonna appoint the PD to.
No.
She's a private attorney? Okay. Ms. Adamson, you said that? Okay. Okay, so you're represented by Ms. Adamson. You'll want to contact her, okay? But in the meantime, those are your bonds, so you do have bonds, okay?
Ashley Spencer.
I don't have anything else. What is it, 2000, sorry.
19 MM566AW.
So 8256, she canceled the check.
Yes. We conflicted with RCC conflicted. This is a conflict. Right, that's right, conflict.
Can you give it to me again? It just came up as somebody else. 2019 MM 566 AW. Okay. So I'm showing an affidavit for violation of pretrial release. And then she was arrested on that, and she was I-8 on that. Was that yesterday too? Okay, so this should have been a reset as well. So there is a bond in that case at $500. And she has the PD in that case.
She does.
Okay? So you do have a bond in that case as well. It looks like you also have a pretrial conference coming up on August 6th. Is this for Mackenzie? Is this,
Sorry?
Sorry?
oh, somebody's downtown?
Yes, that was the PC on Mackenzie. Yeah, he was downtown court today, but there was no pill or information about how the pill was Xanax. So I emailed the officer, and the
Oh, okay,
officer.
all right, the one that we
Correct, talked
You
about it.
jumped the, I jumped
Okay.
the shark on it.
So
Okay.
the officer was able to respond while we were in court, so I just provided the court with the PC and I
Okay,
gave defense
I
copy.
get it. I get
Cannabis
it.
is still less than
Correct.
1 gram, but the Xanax was properly identified.
Okay, so we'll just. can we
Address
put
that
with the
another day.
court, with the other affidavit?
Yeah.
It won't be with it? Okay, I'll just hold on to this for
Okay.
tomorrow or. Okay. And then we have,
Relay any offers from the state.
great. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Justin Bray.
All right, Mr. Bray, you're here in 2018 CF 10275AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for your pretrial conference on 11/28/2018. The judge revoked your release and set your bond at none on each count. Does he have the PD? You do have the Public Defender's Office representing you. They can file any appropriate motions with regards to bond for you. Ms. Burnett bonded out?
Hospital, Your Honor.
Okay. Burnett is hospital?
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. 190-22847? Bonded, okay. And Mr., okay, so we'll reset Mr. Lee within 24 hours of his release from the hospital. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Gerard Wesley.
All right, Mr. Wesley, you're here in 2019 CF 10885AO. You're arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
State had no objection to PT, right?
Yeah, I'm going to place him in the pretrial release program. So, Mr. Wesley, you need to make sure that you follow all of those requirements that they set out for you. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case, okay?
But my
Yeah, just Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Reginald Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, you're here in 2018 CF 10340AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for case management conference on May 15, 2019. The judge revoked your release and set your bond on all 4 counts at none. Does he have the PD? Conflict? You do have conflict counsel, and they can file any appropriate motions for you, so you may want to contact them, okay? In 2019 MM 6341AO, you're arrested for resisting an officer without violence. If you find probable cause, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and I am going to stay the bond at the 1,000. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Franklin Baker.
All right, Mr. Baker, you're here in 2019 CT 5644. You're arrested for driving while license suspended. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
State has no objection to ROR, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with his driving history, so let me just look at it real quick. Thank you. All right, Mr. Baker, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance. And you can't drive without a valid license. So you need to make sure that the public defender's office and the clerk and everybody has like your correct address. Okay?
Yes, my roommate has been driving me and, until I got it resolved, and
Okay, well, don't talk about the facts of your case, okay? So,
Okay,
I'm
I'm sorry.
releasing you on your own recognizance, you're not gonna have to post a bond, but you need to make sure that when you do get your court date, that you show up, and you keep in touch with your attorneys, because if you don't show up, the court can issue a capias and set it at no bond, and I would hate for that to happen to you. Okay, so just make sure that you go to all your court dates and you keep in touch with your attorneys, and they know how to get in touch with you. Okay?
Thank you.
Keep in contact with the attorney to give us a date.
And Palma and Trejo bonded?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Please tell me your name.
My name is Avi Rodriguez, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, you're here in 2019 MO 1391AO. You're arrested for camping in a prohibited place. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender. Was there an offer for Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor. There was an offer for Mr. Rodriguez. The offer was an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, as well as court costs. I have spoken with my client. He does wish to accept the offer.
And does he have 3 days in?
2 days.
2 days?
And
Thank you. All right. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
I do find a factual basis for acceptance of the plea. I am going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'm going to order you pay those by July 31st, 2020, okay? Gives you a year